Heartwarming little girl's touching plea for sick sibling exposed Millionaire's incredible hidden connection. In the heart of Maplewood, a small Midwestern town where everyone knew each other's grandmother's name, 9-year-old Lily stood with a smile that could melt the iciest of hearts. But just beneath that cheerful exterior, like anguish, a pain deeper than any whispered rumor about her family. Her little brother, Tommy, had been diagnosed with a rare illness, and the weight of medical bills hung heavily on their shoulders, like a storm cloud threatening to unleash despair. Lily watched her parents toil day in and day out, their brows furrowed with worry. Her mother, usually so full of warmth, now looked weary, her hands trembling as she washed dishes that seemed to multiply by the minute. Her father, once a buoyant figure in the community, now wore the face of defeat as he stared helplessly at bill after bill. But Lily wasn't about to surrender. Fueled by love, she began to rally the townsfolk. She set up bright-colored lemonade stands at the park, the sweet, tangy scent wafting through the summer air, drawing in curious neighbors. "Just think," she'd say, her voice bright and determined, "every cup helps Tommy." And they came. Mrs. Johnson, the cookie baker, whipped up dozens of cookies, while Mr. Evans rummaged through his dusty attic for toys to donate. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can, drop a like. It really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. But just as hope began to twinkle in their eyes, a dark secret threatened to tear the town apart. The wealthy Mr. Hawthorne, known for his frosty demeanor and towering office, had a history that whispered through the pews of the church. Suspicion brewed when he showed up at one of Lily's fundraising events. Conversation halted, eyes darted, and the air felt thick with tension as he stood at the edge of the gathering, rich suit contrasting with the worn denim and simple clothes of the townsfolk. Murmurs of dissent arose, but they were drowned out by the cacophony of desperation as Lily's bravery shone brightly. Her innocent plea struck a chord. "Mr. Hawthorne, will you help save Tommy?" The question hung like a loaded gun, causing even the toughest hearts to quake. But when a misunderstanding led everyone to believe he had selfish motives, the community split in two. With emotions soaring higher than the town's water tower, the confrontation was inevitable. They asked him why he'd stood idly by while they fought for a boy's life. Hidden fears and resentments wafted into the atmosphere like cloudy smoke, cloaking the warmth of charity and doubt. As voices mingled in a chaotic orchestra of conviction, all eyes turned to Mr. Hawthorne. Faced with Lily's earnest gaze, would he finally crack the shell encasing his cold heart? Would he step forward, ready to embrace redemption, or would he cling to his haunted past, leaving Lily and the town's hopes to wither? The air pulsated with unresolved emotions, leaving everyone grasping desperately for answers, their hearts racing for both Tommy's life and the chance to heal their fractured community. As eyes locked onto Mr. Hawthorne, an electric silence enveloped the crowd. The tension felt like a thick fog rolling in, blanketing any chance of hope. Lily's heart raced, pounding in her chest. She felt the warmth of her friends and relatives standing behind her, the trust they placed in her glimmering bright against the brewing storm of uncertainty. "Mr. Hawthorne," she whispered, her voice barely a thread above the tension. "Please." Her plea hung in the air, and for a moment it appeared as though time had stilled. Mr. Hawthorne shifted slightly, the corner of his mouth twitching. He took a slow breath, his shoulders rising and falling. For the first time, cracks began to splinter the facade he had carefully constructed over the years, the impenetrable exterior blurring just a little. The townsfolk shifted. Their quiet murmurs became a sea of whispers. What does he want? Does he actually care? Is he here to hurt us? Uncertainty fed the buzz that filled the air, a blend of hope and mistrust, threaded with the raw quality of desperation. Suddenly, Mr. Hawthorne stepped forward, pushing the unwelcome memories from his mind. Beneath layers of wealth, he had locked away his own pain, a childhood flickering with secrets and scars. Looking at Lily, he felt the stirrings of something he thought he'd long buried. I wanted to help," he finally managed, his voice deeper than he intended. The harshness of it surprised him. "What did you say?" Someone from the crowd called out, disbelief threading through their voice. "I wanted to help," he repeated, louder this time, "but I thought you wouldn't want anything from me. I thought I was the last person you'd want as a benefactor." Gasps swept through the assembled crowd. Could it be true? Was he really here to help? They had viewed him only as an out-of-touch millionaire whose past mistakes loomed larger than life itself. Lily's eyes brightened. It was as if the sun had peered through an unending gray cloud. "You can help?" she asked, tears of hope shimmering in her wide eyes. With every ounce of courage he could muster, Mr. Hawthorne nodded vigorously, a flicker of passion igniting in his chest. "I have resources. I can help fund Tommy's treatment. But not just that. Perhaps I can help the community as well. Maybe we can work together." The atmosphere shifted like a gust of wind, sweeping up the tension and leaving whispers of disbelief and wonder behind. People exchanged glances, uncertain but also enamored by his surprising admission. "Give him a chance," someone shouted from the back. "Let him show us." The fractured community, for an instant, seemed to lean into the possibility of healing, a collective breath taken in unison. Yet doubt lingered, refusing to completely dissolve. Could they trust him? Was it an honest offer? Or would the shadows of his past rise to consume them again? Lily could taste the fear in the air. "We just want to save Tommy," she declared, her tiny voice cutting through the doubt. "That's all that matters." And just like that, a fragile bridge formed between the doubters and the hopefuls. But as Lily stood there, emotions swirling, uncertain of what might come next, she realized this was only the beginning. The real battle lay ahead, not just for Tommy's life, but for the very soul of the town. Will Mr. Hawthorne be able to turn his words into actions? As the weight of expectations grew heavier, would he truly be able to redeem himself, and in doing so, mend the fabric of their fragile community? Lily stood at the center of the gathering, the murmur of the crowd washing over her like a wave, each whisper a mixture of hope and hesitation. Mr. Hawthorne's eyes flicked to her, and she saw something raw there, a flicker of vulnerability that made his imposing figure somehow softer. "What do we do now?" she thought, her heart racing with possibilities. This was a turning point, but the path ahead felt treacherous. "Thank you, Mr. Hawthorne," someone called out, voice filled with urgency. Others joined in, echoing the sentiment, rallying behind the unexpected benefactor. Yet all Lily could think about was Tommy lying in that hospital bed, fighting for his life. His laughter echoed in her mind, and she knew they had to act quickly. "Okay, everyone," she finally said, tapping her fingers nervously against her thigh. "We can't just stand here. We need a planning. Let's come together." The crowd quieted as they began to focus on her. This was her moment, not just as a sister, but as a leader. Mr. Hawthorne, inspired by Lily's courage, stepped closer. "I'll coordinate a fundraiser, start a campaign. We can get the word out, engage neighboring towns. But I can't do this alone." His voice was filled with fervor. "What if it falls apart?" A worried voice rose from the back, an elder with deeply lined eyes. "You've been gone too long, Mr. Hawthorne. How do we know this is real?" "Because I need this too," he replied, and an abandoned rawness surged in his voice. "I want to change. I want to make things right. For you, for Tommy. Let's do this together." A subtle nod from the elder met with the surrounding crowd, a battle of hope versus the weight of history. The air felt charged with mixed emotions, trust peppered with suspicion. Could they let go of past grievances? Lily leaned forward, her small frame projecting a surprising strength. "We have to try. What if we gathered everyone, the whole town, vendors, special events, anything? Together we can do something incredible." The crowd seemed to swell with energy, a newfound spirit creeping in like dawn chasing away the night. Ellen, a fellow parent with bright eyes and hope-filled determination, stepped forward. "What if we made it a festival? Briarwood's first Hope Festival. We can celebrate with games, music, food. Everyone could pitch in." People began to nod and murmur, excitement building like a tremor in the earth before the quake. Mr. Hawthorne exchanged glances with Lily, their connection solidified amidst the shared vision of healing. But just as momentum surged, the reality settled in. Could they really pull this off? A festival was big, an ambitious undertaking, especially with the clock ticking for Tommy. Would the townsfolk become energized, or would fatigue set in, the whispers of doubt creeping back in? Tension hung in the air as Mr. Hawthorne raised his hand. "If you trust me, I'll do my part. Let's set a date for this festival. Together we can make it happen. and we'll kick off the fundraising for Tommy right now." As the crowd erupted into applause and cheers, a glimmer ignited in Lily, but it was mixed with fear. What if it wasn't enough? Then, as they started to scatter and plan, she turned to Mr. Hawthorne. "But what if no one shows up?" His response hung heavy in the air, a reminder that the path ahead would not be an easy one. If we fight for him, we will find a way. But beneath the surface, the question loomed. Could they truly change the narrative of their town? And could Mr. Hawthorne redefine his legacy? Only time would tell. The days zipped by like a blur, and the air in Briarwood was thick with anticipation. The town, once so steeped in quiet routine, now echoed with plans and conversations laden with hope. Lily felt a flutter in her chest as she raced through the streets, checking in on the preparations for the festival. Bright banners hung from porches, and laughter filled the park as children ran about, their innocence a stark contrast to the heaviness that lurked in Lily's mind. "For Tommy," she whispered to herself, the mantra pushing her onward. Each meeting brought new ideas: food trucks, carnival games, local artists showcasing their crafts. Lily's heart swelled at the buzz of enthusiasm among the townsfolk. They were really doing this. But as bright as everything seemed, the anxiety gnawed at her. What if it all crumbled to dust when the day arrived? What if the festival didn't draw the crowd they needed? Mr. Hawthorne had been nothing short of relentless. He walked the streets with determination, talking to business owners and spreading the word. Every encounter brought more momentum, yet it also heightened the stakes. They were all trusting him. But would that trust hold if they failed? One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, she found herself at the hospital after a long day. Standing before Tommy's room, she paused. The beeping of the machines was rhythmic, but it was the sound of her own heart beating faster that overwhelmed her. She opened the door slowly, a familiar wave of hope washing over her. "Lily!" Tommy's face lit up with a mixture of excitement and weariness. "Have you been to the park? Heard all the fun stuff we're having?" "I have. They're really making it special," she smiled, but her voice shook, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. "I'm doing all I can to make sure you get what you need." Tommy tilted his head, a look of understanding crossing his face. He may have been a child, but he had a wise soul. "You know it doesn't matter if everything goes perfectly, right? The important part is that everyone's trying. They want to help, Lily." His words struck her deeply. I just want you to be okay." Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. "I will be, I promise, and they'll show up, you'll see. All those people, they really care. You helped them remember that." She hugged him tightly, emotions flooding her like a storm. "I promise I'll make it worth it." Back in the outside world, the cool night air brushed against her skin and cleared her mind. The trembling doubt was still there, but it felt a bit lighter. She returned to note cards, lists, and phone calls, each task woven into a tapestry of hopes and dreams. Then came the day of the festival. The grounds of Briarwood Park buzzed with life. Stalls lined the edges, their colors vibrant against the backdrop of trees and a sky that glowed with possibility. But as Lily looked out at the throngs of people, she felt a jolt of panic. What if they didn't meet their goal? What if the funds fell short? "If we fight for him," echoed in her mind, but the stakes felt real. What if her brother's time was running out, and the festival wasn't the miracle they needed? As she turned to find Mr. Hawthorne, seeking some reassurance, she felt a tug on her sleeve. A little girl stood there, clutching a handmade sign that read, "For Tommy." That small act of kindness pulled at Lily's heartstrings. Suddenly she realized this wasn't just about the money. It was about community, about love and support. She smiled at the girl, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they were all fighting together. And just as the festivities began, her phone buzzed in her pocket. A call from the hospital. "Tommy?" Lily's heart dropped. What could it be? Was it news they dreaded? She took a deep breath and answered, uncertainty enveloping her like a thick fog. Little did she know that change was just around the corner. Lily's hand trembled against the cool plastic of her phone as she heard the voice on the other end. It was a nurse, her tone clipped yet soothing, as she spoke directly about Tommy's condition. Her heart raced, a drumbeat of dread echoing in her chest. "Miss Carter, we need you to come to the hospital. There's been a shift." The words hung heavily in the air, pressing down on her like a wet blanket. Her breath caught, and she felt dizzy. The festival blared behind her, laughter and music contrasting sharply against the tumult in her mind. She managed to mumble a response, her words barely a whisper. "I'll be there." The call ended, and the cacophony of joyful voices blurred into a dull roar. "Lily!" Mr. Hawthorne's voice broke through her daze. He stood not far away, scanning the crowd with pride. His joy was palpable, and it struck her as wrong. "What's wrong?" he asked, his brow furrowing. "Tommy, I have to go." The panic in her voice was unmistakable. "What happened?" He stepped closer, concern overtaking his jovial demeanor. She shook her head, unable to articulate it, instead turning and sprinting towards her car. The world blurred as she drove, the colorful banners and smiling faces fading behind her. All she could think about was Tommy. What if this was it? What if she didn't make it in time? The hospital loomed before her, all sterile and cold, a place where hope often felt distant. As she burst through the doors, she was met with the familiar sights that normally brought her comfort, but now felt like a backdrop to her worst fears. Following the nurse's instructions, she navigated the halls until she found Tommy's room. A sinking feeling settled in her stomach. She pushed the door open, bracing herself for whatever news awaited her. Tommy lay frail on the bed, the bright bandages contrasting starkly against his pale skin. His eyes flickered open, and a small smile broke through, lighting up his face just as it always had. "Lily, you came." Relief washed over her. "Of course I did. I'd never leave you." She rushed to his side, her hands grasping his tightly. "I heard the festival was awesome." He coughed slightly, trying to keep the excitement in his voice. "Did everyone come?" "Yes, there are so many people there, more than I ever imagined." The joy of his innocent excitement filled the room, yet shadows still chased her heart. "But Tommy, you had me worried. The nurse said there's been a shift. What does that mean?" Tommy hesitated, his face serious. "It means I just need a little push. Sometimes the doctors say things to make you scared, but it's okay. I'm still here with you." His fingers squeezed hers. Tears brimmed in her eyes, but she held back. "You're so brave, Tommy. You make me want to be stronger too." "Then let's be strong together." He grinned, a spark of mischief shining in those tired eyes. "They planned a pie-eating contest. You have to make sure they do it, and I want to be the judge from here." Lily let out a laugh, the weight in her chest slowly lifting. "I promise to hold you to that." "We're going to make you the best judge ever." Just then, a doctor entered, his expression serious yet kind. "Lily, we need to talk." An icy chill ran up her spine. Is it bad?" The doctor took a breath, his gaze steady. "We've considered a new treatment plan. It's something unconventional, but we believe it could help. However, it requires immediate funding." Lily felt the air leave her lungs. "How much?" "More than you can imagine. But," he hesitated, "funding from the festival might cover some of it. If there's enough raised, this could be the key." Hope ignited in her heart, but so did fear. "If we don't reach that goal," he nodded solemnly, "then we fight a different battle." With her world tilted on its axis, she had a decision to make. She could join the festival and fight for Tommy's dream, or she could face what lay ahead alone. Tommy's clutch on her hand tightened, grounding her. "Lily, you're okay, right?" His eyes held hers with unwavering trust. "Yes," she whispered, heart racing. "But how do we make this happen?" As she stepped out of the room, the weight of her brother's future pressed down on her, intertwining with a renewed sense of purpose. The festival wasn't just a source of funds anymore. It was a lifeline. Suddenly, loud applause erupted from outside the hospital. "Did you hear that?" Lily gasped, spinning around. It sounded like they'd hit a milestone. "Whatever they're cheering for," Tommy said with a glimmer of belief, "it's for us." And with that thought igniting her spirit, Lily felt the fire of determination blaze within her. What they didn't realize was that there were whispers in the crowd, and with the cheering came a revelation that could alter everything. Would a mystery benefactor step forward with the answer to their unspoken plea? Lily stepped out of Tommy's room, her heart pounding with both hope and despair. The applause outside had a rhythm of its own, echoing like a heartbeat that synchronized with her own, every clap symbolizing a breath she was about to take. She glanced down the long, bright corridor, lined with framed pictures of smiling children, living proof that miracles could happen. The sun slipped low in the sky, casting golden rays through the hospital windows. Each footstep she took felt heavier than the last, but determination surged within her. She had to rally the festival crowd, to turn their joyous celebration into a battle cry for Tommy's life. "Lily!" A familiar voice broke through her anxious thoughts. It was Mia, her best friend since childhood, dodging around a group of nurses and rushing toward her. "What's going on? I saw you racing in here," Mia asked, concern tightening her features. Lily took a breath, feeling the weight of what she had to say. "Tommy needs a new treatment, but it's going to take serious funding. Her voice wobbled as the words tumbled out. The kind that can come from the festival. Mia's eyes widened, and then her face softened with understanding. We can make it happen. What do you need me to do? I need you to help me find a way to turn the festival's energy into something more powerful. We have to push for donations. Make everyone realize there's a face behind this cause. Lily took another deep breath. You know how people love a story. We need to show them who Tommy is, what he's fighting for. Mia nodded eagerly, the gears already turning in her mind. What about the social media pages? We can flood them with updates, share Tommy's journey, his hopes, and everything he wants to do when he recovers. Yes! Lily felt a spark of excitement flash through her. Let's do a live feed, get everyone to rally, show the world why they need to support Tommy. He wants to judge that pie eating contest. Let's make his spirit contagious. Absolutely, Mia's voice was full of fire, but we need a captivating angle. I've heard whispers at the festival about a possible big donor, but they're elusive. If we can capture their attention, it could change everything. Lily felt a swell of hope. Then we'll capture attention. Who is this person? Can you find out? Whoever they are, they need to know Tommy's story. Mia pulled out her phone, her fingers dancing over the screen. I'll reach out to some people. Everyone is buzzing about a mystery benefactor. With the plan taking shape, Lily felt a surge of urgency. They had to act fast. Time was precious, and so was Tommy's life. Let's head to the festival, together. We can create a wave of momentum. As they made their way downstairs, the raucous crowd greeted them with laughter and shouts, competing with the enticing aroma of cotton candy and kettle corn. Lily's heart raced, not just from the anxiety, but from a renewed sense of purpose. She could feel the tide shifting. When they reached the entrance, she paused and took a long look at the festivities. This wasn't just a festival, it was a lifeline. She fixed her gaze on the stage, where lights twinkled like stars, her eyes narrowing with resolve. Here goes nothing, she murmured, her heart pounding as she stepped up onto the stage, drawing the crowd's attention. Everyone, she called, her voice shaking but passionate. I need your help, and it's for my brother, Tommy. The crowd quieted, curiosity piqued. She locked eyes with familiar faces in the audience, the laughter fading into a hard silence. He's fighting for his life. We can make sure he gets a chance to judge that pie-eating contest, but we need each other. We need every dollar we can muster. Isn't that what community is for? A murmur built, rippling through the crowd like a wave. Mia jumped in, amplifying the energy. Let's show Tommy that we have his back, that he isn't in this alone. We are not just celebrating today, we're fighting for one of our own. And in that moment, as she scanned the sea of faces, her heart raced with determination. Would they rally together? Would the festival turn into something more than just fun? Suddenly, a figure stepped out from the crowd, a woman with an air of authority, her eyes sparkling with compassion. Wait, she shouted, capturing everyone's focus. If we're joining forces, I may have something to contribute. As she raised her hand, hope flickered in Lily's chest. But who was she, and what did she have to offer? Lily's breath hitched. Could this be the turn they needed? Would the mystery benefactor finally step into the light, or would the shadows return to haunt them? Lily's heart raced as the mysterious woman stepped closer to the stage. A palpable tension filled the air, a blend of anticipation and hope. The crowd, which had been murmuring just moments ago, felt electric, eyes glued to the woman whose presence radiated authority. What's your name? Lily called, summoning courage to embrace the moment. Grace, the woman replied, her tone calm yet commanding. I've been watching from afar. Your message is powerful. I've seen what you're doing for Tommy, and I want to help. Lily felt tears prick her eyes. Could this be the miracle she had been hoping for? Do you mean you'll donate? Grace smiled, a warmth enveloping her words. Not just a donation, but I want to host a special fundraiser, one dedicated solely to Tommy and children like him. The crowd erupted in applause, and Lily took a moment to breathe. That would be amazing, but how? How can we make this happen? Let's plan it out together, Grace said, stepping closer to the edge of the stage. We'll combine the festival's energy with a story that brings everyone together. We'll invite local businesses, artists, everyone who loves this community. We can even include activities that showcase Tony's spirit, the pie-eating contest, carnival games, everything. Lily could hardly believe her ears. You're serious? You'd put all of that together? Absolutely, Grace affirmed, her eyes gleaming with passion. Children like Tommy deserve a chance, and your courage is inspiring. Let's show the world what it means to be a community. Mia grabbed Lily's arm, whispering in awe. "This is incredible. This could change everything for him." Lily nodded, feeling buoyed by the growing energy. "Thank you, Grace. You have no idea what this means to us. Tommy has such a big heart. He will be so excited to hear about this." Grace turned, shifting her focus to the crowd that had gathered. "Can I count on all of you to help us make this happen? I know Tommy's story has touched many of you. Together, we can create something special." A wave of excitement swept through the audience. Hands shot up, eager volunteers calling out with ideas, and others promising support. It wasn't just a festival anymore. It was a movement of hope igniting before Lily's eyes. Lily's heart swelled. She could see Tommy's face light up with joy. "For Tommy!" she shouted, urging the crowd to rally behind them. "For Tommy!" they echoed, their voices melding into a chorus of determination.
Grace beamed with pride. "Let's set a date. A day of fun, laughter, and love. We'll fill this park with joy and show Tommy how many people are rooting for him." As the crowd buzzed with newfound enthusiasm, Lily felt a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in a long time. They were all in this fight together. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She fished it out, glancing at the screen. It was a message from her mom, filled with love, but also worries. Tommy's health had taken a turn. The urgency gripped Lily's heart like a vice. "Grace," she turned back, her voice low. "I just got word that Tommy, he needs this now more than ever. We have to act fast." Grace's expression shifted, the weight of the situation sinking in. "Then let's not waste a moment. We will meet tonight to plan this out. We have to show his strength to everyone, starting with social media tonight." Lily felt the fire in her chest simmering to a boil, but a pang of fear lingered. What if the fundraiser didn't go as planned? But she shook those thoughts off. They had started something beautiful. As she stepped down from the stage, she caught Mia's eye, hoping to share in her friend's excitement. Yet they both knew this was just the beginning. The festival had turned into something bigger than they'd ever imagined. But was it enough? Lily took a deep breath, opening her heart to the possibilities. Could the community truly rally around Tommy and pull together? Would they find a way to heal not just him, but each other? With one last glance at the cheering crowd, she whispered, "This is just the start." Would they find the strength they needed to pull through? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the park as the festival energy pulsed like a heartbeat. Excited chatter filled the air as volunteers rallied around Grace and Lily, creating an atmosphere thick with promise. They huddled in small groups, brainstorming ideas that would channel their hope into a tangible experience for Tommy. "Let's get local businesses involved. They can donate prizes," one volunteer suggested, clutching a clipboard filled with notes. "Barbecue food trucks," another chimed in excitedly. "And we can have a dunk tank. Everyone would love to dunk their teachers." Lily felt her pulse quicken as she listened. Dreams of laughter and joy for Tommy started to crystallize in her mind. "What about a wall of hearts?" she proposed, her voice steady with newfound determination. People could write messages of support, and Tommy could read them when he's feeling down. Grace nodded enthusiastically. "I love that. We can set it up in a prominent spot, a reminder of how much love surrounds him." As they brainstormed, the weight of Tommy's condition hovered in Lily's thoughts, but she forced herself to stay focused. This was a crucial moment, a chance not only for Tommy, but for all the children in similar situations. This was bigger than any one of them. Rushing home later that evening, Lily was driven by a mix of excitement and anxiety. Her mom greeted her at the door with a tight smile, her eyes betraying worry. "Did it go well?" "Better than I ever dreamed. We're organizing a huge fundraiser," Lily said, her voice brimming with hope. Her mom's face lit up for a moment before dimming again. "That's wonderful, sweetheart, but Tommy, he's not doing well. You know how fragile his condition is." The words cut deep. Lily swallowed hard, fighting back tears. "I know, Mom. That's why we need this fundraiser more than ever. We're all working so hard for him. It has to make a difference." As night fell, the group gathered at Grace's home, the tension palpable, but infused with a sense of purpose. They filled the space with laughter and chatter, energy buzzing through every corner. Grace led the meeting, laying out the plans methodically, and everyone fell into place like pieces of a puzzle. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, sending everyone into a startled silence. Mia quickly peeked out, her expression shifting to confusion and concern. "What was that?" Lily asked, her heart racing. "I think someone knocked over the cake," Mia called back, trying to suppress a giggle. Grace waved her off, bringing everyone back to focus. We're all human. Mistakes happen, Grace reassured everyone. Let's take a moment to breathe and then get back to work. Lily leaned on the table, looking around at her friends and the determined faces of the volunteers. In that moment, she realized they weren't just building an event. They were laying a foundation of love and support that would stretch far beyond one day. As the planning continued, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with another message from her mom. He's awake. The doctors say he's stable, but we need to prepare for a tough few days ahead. Hope mixed with rising dread. Lily took a deep breath, pushing her fears aside. For Tommy, she muttered, but the doubt lingered at the back of her mind. Could they really pull this together in time? Would the community show up? They needed to rally not just for Tommy, but also to send a message of resilience and unity. As Lily left the gathering that night, she felt a mixture of excitement and unease. She hoped and prayed that the community could come together to support Tommy. But as the night grew dark, a nagging question loomed. Would the spark they kindled be enough to ignite a fire within everyone's hearts? Or would it flicker out before it could truly begin? The next day dawned with a gray sky, a stark contrast to the warmth they had felt during their planning. But inside, Lily was determined. She gathered her cardboard supplies and art markers before heading to the park once more. The wall of hearts needed to come to life. When she arrived, the park was buzzing with volunteers, each person wearing the bright blue t-shirts they had made for the event.
The energy was infectious, but Lily's mind danced anxiously between hope and dread. She quickly joined Grace, who was coordinating the setup for the dunk tank and other games. "Ready for this?" Grace asked, her smile unwavering. "Yeah, let's do it," Lily replied, but her voice cracked. A hand clapped her shoulder gently. It was Mina, a fellow volunteer. "This is going to be amazing. Just think of Tommy's smile when he sees it." "Right," Lily murmured, but doubt lingered like an uninvited guest. What if it wasn't enough? As the morning faded into early afternoon, the smell of barbecued meat rose in the air. Laughter bounced around them as families found their way to the park, drawn by the growing excitement. Local businesses had pitched in, and each donation felt like a little miracle. "We've got a bounce house," shouted a volunteer, waving her arms. That was it. People were coming. With a renewed sense of purpose, Lily began to set up the wall of hearts. She meticulously painted the wooden panel white and hung colorful paper hearts nearby, ready for messages. She envisioned Tommy, laughing at the encouragement from friends, family, and even strangers. Grace hustled over, her phone in hand. "I just got a message from a news station. They want to cover the event." "What?" Lily's eyes widened, a surge of hope flooding through her. "This could be huge." "Exactly. The more people who hear about it, the more we can raise for Tommy," Grace beamed. As the clock ticked closer to the event's start, the park began to fill. Colorful decorations fluttered in the mild breeze. Volunteers moved excitedly between booths, setting up games, food stations, and the heart wall, their laughter weaving a tapestry of warmth around the area. Then, just as the first visitors arrived, Lily's heart dropped. She saw her mom approach, worry clearly etched on her face. "Honey, can we talk?" Every anxious nerve tingled. "Is it Tommy?" "His doctors are seriously concerned. They just called. He isn't stable right now, and they think we should prepare for—" Lily's breath caught, the chatter of the festival muffled around her. "No, he can't," her voice trembled. "He has to be here today." "Lily," her mom reached for her hand, "it's important to stay hopeful, but we need to face reality." Tears threatened to spill, but Lily quickly blinked them away. Not now. Not when everyone was counting on them. "Okay, but we can't let this stop us. Tommy needs to feel all the love today. He needs to know he's supported," Lily declared, her heart racing once more, tugged between fear and determination. As she returned to the wall of hearts, she began writing her own message. "You are brave, Tommy. We're fighting for you." The day had begun, but the battle for Tommy's health loomed large in her mind. Would the love they created today truly reach him? With each heart that was written, hope flickered. But would their heart work resonate enough to reach him in time? Lily pushed forward, determined not to let go of that spark and praying it would shine bright when it mattered most. Lily stood at the heart of the festival, her heart racing. It was more than just a gathering. It was a lifeline for Tommy. Color and laughter danced around her, but every cheer echoed against the weight of her concerns. Each moment turned into a clock ticking, precious time slipping through her fingers like sand. The energy in the park surged as families filled the grounds, drawn in by the promise of games, good food, and an even better cause.
Banners swayed in the light breeze, shouting "For Tommy" as volunteers rallied to add the finishing touches to booths and activities. Everywhere she looked were smiling faces, ready to support, eager to contribute. Yet, with every smile she saw, a pang of dread reminded her that Tommy remained miles away, fighting for his life in silence. She swallowed the thick lump in her throat, refusing to let despair seep into this moment. They had all come together. They had to believe. As volunteers started setting up for the dunk tank, Lily noticed Mia weaving through the crowd, camera in hand, capturing moments of hope and excitement. Lily's heart warmed at the sight. "Mia," she called out, waving her over. "How is everything looking on social media?" Mia grinned, bouncing on her toes. "It's blowing up. People are sharing lovely messages and donations are rolling in. It's beautiful." "Good. He needs to see it. He needs to know that everyone is here for him," Lily said softly. Just then, Grace approached, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder, her eyes reflecting unwavering support. "Lily, everything is falling into place. Whatever happens today, so many are fighting for Tommy. He'll feel our love, I promise." Tentatively, Lily nodded. She felt an echo of hope bounce back, soft but persistent. "We have to keep going. We've come too far." With renewed determination, Lily dashed to grab a stack of paper hearts, focusing her energy on the wall that had become a beacon of love. If only she could carry that love to Tommy somehow. As the clock ticked toward the festival's grand opening, an emerging crowd got ready, and whispers rippled through the gathering attendees. The heart wall was alive with colorful messages, growing larger, brighter, and bursting with love. "You're the bravest," read one heart. "We're in this together," called another. Each message wrapped around her heart, promising connection and support in times that felt so uncertain. Suddenly, a megaphone crackled to life. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Briarwood Hope Festival." Cheers erupted, a thunderous wave washing over her as Lily stood front and center, heart pounding louder than the applause. Mr. Hawthorne stepped on stage, radiating enthusiasm and sincerity. "Today isn't just a celebration. It's about community, love, and compassion. Every dollar we raise is one step closer to helping Tommy."
The crowd roared, and Lily felt tears of joy sting her eyes. The energy was palpable. They were unified. Laughter mingled with the rising chant of "For Tommy!" Each voice felt like a thread weaving them closer together. Watching the gathering, Lily knew that despite the weight of her fears, they were all here for one reason: to fight for Tommy. Her mind raced, but instead of spiraling into uncertainty, she harnessed that energy into action. "Let's keep the momentum going." She grabbed Mia's hand, and together they leaped into the thick of the fun, inviting everyone into games, relishing the joy around them. As the dunk tank splashed and laughter filled the park, Lily caught a glimpse of familiar faces, friends and neighbors rallying with no hesitation. Just as she was about to jump into the next activity, her phone buzzed again, the familiar name flashing on the screen. It was her mom. With a flutter of anxiety, she answered, heart in her throat. "Mom?" "Lily." Her mom's voice trembled, but held a note of relief. "Tommy stabilized. The doctors are seeing improvement." "What? Really?" Joy exploded within her, mingling with disbelief. "Yes, it seems like the support from the festival has given him the strength he needed. They say your messages, your energy is powerful." Tears flowed freely now. "He can feel it, Mom. We're all fighting for him." "Exactly, sweetheart. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference." As she hung up, a radiant smile lit her face, and she felt buoyed by hope. "Everyone," she shouted, causing the momentary buzz of activity to pause. "Tommy is stable. Because of all of you, he's pulling through." Cheers erupted, chants of "For Tommy" growing louder, and in that moment, she knew life would resume its beat for her brother. The day unfolded, filled with laughter, excitement, and unexpected performances. Volunteers stepped up, businesses donated generously, and children's laughter echoed, carving new memories into the canvas of Briarwood. Hours later, as the festival wound down, Lily caught glimpses of colorful hearts fluttering in the wind off the wall they had created, each one a testament to love. "Tomorrow," she said to herself, "he'll know all about this." And as the sun dipped below the horizon, glistening a brilliant orange and purple, she felt in her heart that they were on the path to healing, mending what had been broken, standing together as a community united and strong. "And we're just getting started," she whispered, feeling the pulse of hope continue to thrive. So, as this journey wraps up, remember, true change requires action. Your voice matters. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. You need to be part of this journey.